This is Sneaker Gears. My name is Levi, and welcome to week 6 of Running Gears. And I'm ashamed to say I did not meet my goals last week. Let's get right into this. Alright, if you're just joining the channel, thank you very much. At Running Gears, we are following my journey as someone who is looking to get in better shape, improve his cardio, and who is a little overweight. I'm at 240 pounds, so if you're following along and you're a new runner or you're trying to lose some weight, I'm just starting out. This is week 6 of consistent running, so I'm learning a lot of new things. Hopefully I can share that with you. And being a sneaker enthusiast, a collector, and someone who's been reviewing shoes for a few years, I have a different take than some of the elite runners out there coming from the basketball and the training world. So this week I was only able to do 3 runs, and even then one of them was just a walk with the family, but I'm still going to count because we put about 1.5 miles in. So with that said, let's look at the first shoe I used. The Saucony Ride ISO 2. This shoe is just so comfortable. It's one of my favorite casual shoes, and to be honest, Saucony and their Everrun cushioning has kind of taken over my daily just walking shoes over Boost. Sorry Adidas, Boost is dead. On that note, I actually do have about 8 pairs of Boost that I'm not wearing, 5 pairs of Ultra Boost, a couple Pure Boost, and some other odds and ends here, but this, along with some of the past versions of the Saucony Triumphs, are my daily kind of just walking and errand shoes. This is using Everrun as a top layer on top of their Power Run, not the new Power Run Plus or whatever they used to call it, but it's a comfortable shoe. It's flexible, it's light. This traction, which is actually what they call crystal rubber, is really durable, so it's something I'm very confident in wearing and knowing it's going to last. Now, as far as just being a pure just runner, this is like the quintessential daily runner. It's not super cushioned, it's not, really fast. It gives you maybe a little bit of everything, so it does everything pretty well. Nothing very special, but just a great all-around shoe. All right, so I know everyone gives excuses when they have exceptions or when they fail, and my excuse is, and yes, it is an excuse, because if we were all like Kofuzi, shout out here in Chicago, who loves running in the rain and the wet, God, I hate it. So last week it actually rained for about 3 days. So I went on my first walk with those shoes, about 1.5 miles on Tuesday. It rained that evening, all Wednesday, pretty much all Thursday, and I went for a jog Thursday night, and I actually chose to go in the Epic Reacts. These were Nike's first kind of full React midsole, very little outsole to them. These are incredibly lightweight, and if you like this amount of cushioning, and I think I need a little bit more, this is something Nike is not actually making anymore. They have the new Miler that has more cushion than this. Obviously you have the Infinity React, more cushion than this, and then you have something like the Pegasus that has React and Zoom. So this is something that if you don't need all the cushion, it's a great option for you. But for me, I did just under 1.5 miles, almost there, and it was just not quite enough. I really enjoy these for walking around because they are lightweight, they are flexible, but they're just not as much cushion as I would like from someone who's a little bit bigger like myself. Now, as you pick up the pace, as you have a faster turnover, you don't need as much cushion since you're not on the ground as much. Your ground contact time is much less. So although this is a really good shoe, it's just not great for me. This is another shoe that I've contemplated selling, since if I can't use it for running, there's only so many shoes I want to keep around for casual and for walking, but it's also a good baseline for some of the shoes I have coming in that I wanted to test. And for my final excuse, Saturday and Sunday last week were absolutely beautiful, 70 to 80 degrees, spent most of the time just with my family, and especially in these times here in kind of middle of 2020 during COVID-19 and kind of the stay at home and really a pandemic, no matter where you are around the world. Take time with your family as much as you can, enjoy your loved ones, you just never know. So I say all that not to make an excuse, but I did have a few shoes come in, and what I wanted to do was a 2-mile segment where I was going to do a half mile, half mile, and finished the last half mile with whatever shoe I thought was the best. So I went for the run late Saturday evening, kind of after the family's to bed, and the first shoe I took out was the Pegasus 35. Now this is full length Zoom with Cushlon cushioning, and Cushlon is really Nike's basic foam. It does a decent job of absorbing impact, but it is not plush, is not soft, has no energy return. That full length Zoom is actually only 4 millimeters thick. So it is actually rather thin. So that Zoom is compensating for the lack of bounciness or cushion that the actual foam or carrier is providing. So it makes for a decent ride. It's always impressive when I put it on. I haven't worn it for a while because the full length Zoom is just a great transition. You have the cushion all the way through your foot, but it feels more comfortable the faster you go. Now, it doesn't have any propulsion. It's not necessarily bouncy, but it's just a good overall ride. Now, the 36 did have a different upper. It was a little bit lighter, but I really just love the upper here on the 35, and this is definitely one I'll be keeping in my collection. So my first half mile, I guess it's about 11-minute pace. The second half mile, I actually ran for the first time, or maybe the second time, and if you guys just saw my previous video, in the Vomero 14. Now, the Vomero 14 was just updated for 2020 with a thicker tongue, but technically it's the same shoe. We're going to have an all-new Vomero 15 coming out later this year, so they are keeping with the Vomero line. Rumors on that it might have Zoom Air and Zoom X, which is kind of cool, so we'll see what that is. But this essentially is the exact same shoe, but meant for someone who is a little bit heavier. So if you have a bigger body, if you're just starting to run, you're getting full length Zoom with React cushion that is a little bit softer, that is providing you a better landing and better impact protection. It's not as bouncy as you would think it would be with both of those encased in here, but it really does feel, I wouldn't say an upgraded Pegasus, but just a Pegasus for a bigger runner. So I really enjoyed these. And during that second half mile, I actually ended up going about 30 seconds faster. And the reason I changed shoes was because of this new guy, the Pegasus 37. So this is using way more React than what we even had on the Epic React. This is also using a 10 millimeter 4-foot Zoom, so thicker than either one of those shoes. And I wasn't sure what to expect because I've used a React that's been pretty firm, especially like on basketball shoes. And I've had Zoom Air that even though it's this big, it's not necessarily that bouncy, such again in basketball like the Why Not 3, which this is using a very similar, if not the same 4-foot Zoom pad that is using. All that to say, holy cow. The Pegasus 37 is one of the best all-around shoes I've ever jogging. I did about a mile in it, which again is very low compared to what a lot of the runners go out there. But for me, being able to do that, just fun and consistent and just being shocked. The transition from React to Zoom was way better than I thought it would be, considering it's two separate cushionings. The Zoom Air in the 4-foot did have some bounce to it, but it wasn't super bouncy. But what I love about this is it felt great going slow, and when I tried to pick it up just a little bit, it still felt good. I don't know if it felt better. It was consistent. It felt great for my weight. So I think for a lot of runners who are lighter, a lot of folks or athletes out there who don't weigh as much or put as much pounding since we're going slower paces, maybe this is too much cushion, but this is definitely a high cushion shoe. And it was shocking. Now, to give you guys some sizing and just some updates, I did do a 12.5 in this. I have a 12.5 in my Pegasus 35. They both fit great, and I have a wide midfoot with a decently wide toe box. It can form fantastic. Now, the Vomero, I did a 13 only because I got those really cheap, and ideally, I would have maybe a 12 wide because even a 13 is still a little bit narrow. But this, shockingly good. I definitely want to put a few more miles into it and give you guys a full update and comparison in the next coming weeks. All right, so we're using the same goals from last week going for week 7. We're going to try to go on 5 runs. We're going to try to get over 8 miles. I definitely feel a little bit stronger today. I usually try to release these on Wednesday. I am doing some weight training or body weight training, so I don't run on Wednesdays. But this week alone, kind of a cheat. I already put in 4 miles. Last week, I got 4 miles in 3 runs. And this week I've gotten 4 miles in 2 runs. So I'm already ahead of schedule, so I'm feeling good. And when you don't hit your goals, if you have failures or setbacks, it's okay. You're battling yourself. Now, don't use it as an excuse to be like, oh, I guess I don't have to do it, but use it as motivation. Don't tear yourself down. And it's something that I'm looking forward to beating that because I know I can do better. Now, I do want to give a shout out to a couple of the people who have commented and pointed the channels that have helped me with either stretching or pre-run routines. They're just helping me stay healthy. So thank you guys. In the comments, if you guys have any questions or want me to tackle anything, I am happy to. As well as if you have any advice or any pointers for me, I'm always looking to learn more. As always, really appreciate you guys. This is Levi Sneaker Gears, and I'll see you next week.